says she faced racist remarks and retaliation from the mayor, was falsely accused of misconduct, and fired after filing a whistleblower complaint. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce have been nominated for Emmy Awards for their halftime performances at NFL games. Lamar has 4 nominations for his halftime performance at last season's Super Bowl in New Orleans. The Compton native was nominated for Outstanding Live Variety Special, Outstanding Directing for a Variety Special, Outstanding Music Directing, and Outstanding Choreography. Beyonce was also nominated for Outstanding Live Variety Special for her performance on Christmas Day during halftime of the Houston Texans-Baltimore Ravens game in Houston. Beyonce did her performance with the HBCU Texas Southern University Ocean of Soul Marching Band. The Emmy Awards show is September 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on CBS. Major League Baseball honored Hank Aaron last night during the All-Star Game in Atlanta. Aaron passed Babe Ruth in 1974 to become, at that time, baseball's all-time home run leader. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Bounce is back. Your boy is back.
I know y'all miss the bounce. You need the bounce for the section, you know? Let's get it in. Yeah, ma, your dude is back. Maybach roof is back. Tell the whole world the truth is back. You ain't gotta argue about who can rap, cause the proof is back. Just go through my raps. New York, New York. Yeah, where my troopers at? Where my hustlers? Where my boosters at? I don't care what you do for stacks. I know the world glued your back to the wall. You gotta brawl through that. I've been through that. Been shot at. Shoot back. Gotta keep a peace like a boot ass. I ain't a new jack. Nobody gon' Wesley snipe me. It's less than likely. Move back. Let I breathe. Jedi Knight. The more space I get, the better I write. Oh, never I write. But if ever I write, I need the space to say whatever I like. Now just
Change clothes and go.
you know I stay fresh to death, aborted from the projects, and I'ma take you to the top of the globe. Let's go.
Let's exchange now. Doesn't go.
That, of course, is Jay-Z. I am Tavis, Smiley, and I'm delighted to have you with us in this hour of our program. And when I tell you, I've been excited about this hour. I've been looking forward to this. I told you this a couple hours ago that I couldn't wait to get to this hour of our program, in part because I'm a huge fan, but secondly because I want to just say thank you to her, and I will do that in just a second. In this hour, a conversation with Robin Givhan, Pulitzer Prize-winning writer and former fashion editor. Currently, she is the Washington Post's senior critic at large, writing about politics, race, and the arts. We'll get to that in this conversation. Her new book, though, which is why she's on primarily, is called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. Once again, the book is called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh, and I look forward to this hour with her. Virgil Abloh, as I said earlier, was a bad man. I remember how well very well, I should say. His appointment as head of menswear for Louis Vuitton back in 2018, as I recall, it shocked the fashion industry as he became the first black designer to serve as artistic director in the brand's 164-year history. And so I'm just thrilled that Robin Givhan chose this program as one of the places she would show up to talk about her new book. Once again, it's called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. I said, Robin, a moment ago, I want to just tell you thank you. And all I meant to suggest by that was I am so grateful to you for writing this book. We were all saddened, and I've been waiting to see who would step forward and write the text that would give Virgil the love and respect that he deserves. So let me just start by saying thank you for writing the book. How are you today?
Well, thank you so much for saying that, and I am well. I am well and very happy to be here.
Yeah. So I said thank you for writing it. Let me just delve into that now. Why did you choose to write? Of all the things that you could have written about, why was it important for you to write this book?
Well, when Virgil was working, I wrote about his collections, particularly his women's collections under his own brand. And like some other critics, I had some negative things to say about some of the work. And I always say to people that a negative critique is not personal and it's not meant to be belittling. It's because I'm taking your work seriously. And I really, want to offer, thoughtful appraisals of it. And at the same time, when he passed away, I was really struck by the outpouring from people that was very different, it seemed to me, than when other, figures of note had passed away. And it seemed very intimate. People responded as if they really knew him or had a relationship with him. And so I really wanted to explore that tension, right? The degree to which he connected with his customers and his aspiring customers, and the sort of issues that I sometimes had with the fashion work itself.
Tell me, you got me fascinated already. It's going to be a great hour. I'm going to have you for the hour. There's a whole lot to unpack. It's going to be a great hour, Robin. To your point about this connection, what did you discover about the genesis, or certainly the epicenter of this connection that he had with customers, clients, everyday people, to use your word? Tell me about this connection.
Yeah, I think for some designers, when their customers, think about them, they see them on a pedestal, and they see them as unapproachable. They sort of get giddy if they happen to spot them in the wild. And with Virgil, it seemed much more that it was someone from their inner circle who had succeeded. And I think that was really, Virgil's doing. I mean, part of his way of operating was he wanted to be transparent, or at least give, a good facsimile of being transparent. And so people felt like when he got to the top of the menswear world at Vuitton, they felt like he brought them along with him. Yeah. And he often spoke in the first person plural. He would say, we did this. And he would talk about doing things and succeeding for the culture. And he made people feel very much like not only have they helped him to summit the mountain, so to speak, but that he let them stand at the top along with him.
Yeah. This audience knows, I say it all the time, that what fascinates me more than anything else in conversations like these, and these would be all of my conversations, I'm always delighted thrilled to get into the backstory. I often say that, that people see your glory, but they don't know the backstory. And so it's the backstory that I think informs everything. And so I want to, when we come forward with Robin Givhan, talking about Virgil Abloh, get a better understanding of his backstory. You don't just overnight become the head of menswear. The first black person to ever do that for Louis Vuitton back in 2018. It doesn't just happen overnight. There is a backstory here, and that's what I am fascinated by and about. So we'll jump right into that when we come forward with Robin Givhan on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. At one point, James said something that caught me off guard. Not because it wasn't true, but because it is. Black Altadena is gone. I know it may seem stupid and non-productive, but I stopped in that moment listening to Tavis and James. I broke down and cried. In the back of my mind, I told myself we can bring it back like it was. But James Farr's reality check hit me like a ton of bricks. My community is being murdered. I said murdered, not by the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire, but by the people we elect to protect us, and by greedy and gatekeeping nonprofits who cannot see the forest for the trees. For the first time since the fire, I truly feel and understand my wife's inconsolable pain. Because I'm struggling to find a path to recovery and at least some form of normalcy. My community is crumbling right in front of my face. Lack of funding to rebuild is slowly destroying us. Many of us can no longer hold out, and developers are gobbling up our property. When I hear voices like Tavis Smiley and James Farr speak truth to power on KBLA Talk 1580, it reminds me that we're not crazy, just unheard. Make no mistake here, KBLA delegation, this is war, and we the people of Black Altadena are losing. It's like waiting for reparation. Not gonna happen, brother. In this new orange man world, no one, no entity is persuaded by right or wrong. There is no consequence for doing the wrong thing, and no accolades or support for doing the right thing. Will war-torn Black Altadena survive? Your guess is as good as mine. But what have I got to lose? I'm in my 70s and don't have time to wait. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once suggested that riots break out when people have no hope. But there's nothing left to burn down in Altadena. I wish I could say I remain hopeful that my beloved community will rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. I wish I could. With a KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Pasadena Community Coalition at gmail.com. Reach out to me. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33, and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Calling all night, I can pull the wool while I'm being polite. Like, darling, calling all night, I can be a bull while I'm being polite. Like, oh me, oh my. I know many women wanna be in my life. Like, oh me, oh my. Why can every woman end up being my wife? Even if she go away, away, even if she go away, even if she go away, I'm a classic man. You can be mean when you look this clean, I'm a classic man. Calling on me like a young OG, I'm a classic man.
I'm Tavis Smiley, glad to have you with us in this hour as we continue our conversation with Robin Givhan, Pulitzer Prize-winning writer, and her new one is called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. It's a beautiful book, and I'm delighted to have her on for a beautiful conversation about her beautiful book. Robin, I said a moment ago that it is that backstory that so intrigues me. Tell me, in any way you choose to do so, about Virgil Abloh's backstory.
Well, one of the things that Virgil talked about a lot was, doing things, as he put it, to impress his 17-year-old self. And he often talked about the interests and desires and the things that 17-year-olds, young people generally valued. So I was really curious to go back and not only to see where he was, where he grew up, where was he when he was 17, but also to think about what the fashion industry itself was like when he was 17. And, he grew up in Rockford, Illinois, which is very much a Midwestern town, a Midwestern city. People wanted to sort of describe him as sort of coming from the suburbs of Chicago. But, Rockford is 90 miles from Chicago. It's equidistant between Chicago and Iowa. And so you can pretty quickly go from urban to cornfields. And it was also a somewhat segregated city. And those issues persisted in its public school system, even in the 90s. And Virgil asked his parents to go to a Catholic high school. And he thought he'd get a better education there. And he was a minority within a minority there, because it was predominantly white, and the largest minority group was Hispanic. And, he talked about being this kid who sort of lived in the in-between spaces. He was a Black kid who loved hip hop, but also loved Nirvana, who loved skateboarding, who loved Michael Jordan. And I thought it was interesting that, this was someone who embraced that sort of sense of being in between and feeling like he could flourish there. And the other thing that was really striking to me about his 17th year, so to speak, is the degree to which so much change was happening within fashion. European fashion was kind of being rewritten with a whole group of young designers coming into these legacy brands. Americans were going to Europe to lead some of these houses. Princess Diana was killed. Gianni Versace was killed. And there were tremendous shifts in the role of menswear, in the influence of hip-hop fashion, urban fashion, and in the rise of Black men as real leaders in terms of, sort of the direction of menswear. So a lot of those things came into play in allowing Virgil to rise and for the fashion industry to kind of be ready for someone like Virgil.
How did fashion become his muse, Robin?
Well, I think during that period, fashion was interested in young people. And he was not so much, a guy who was, isolated from fashion, despite being sort of in the middle of the country without direct access to high fashion. But, he was buying, analog magazines, ordering them from the local Barnes and Noble, like European fashion magazines, Japanese fashion magazines. He loved skater brands. Like a lot of people of that generation, he was captivated by, Polo, by Louis Vuitton. He talks about having saved his pennies and buying the least expensive item in a Vuitton store, which was like a little key pouch, because he thought it was incredibly cool. And, he was really coming from a place where, it wasn't the idea of selling out, which I think is such a sort of Gen X idea of, your favorite indie band gets a big record deal and you're like, oh, they sold out. The idea of selling out was like sort of non-existent. Being part of a big corporation, sitting at the top of a big corporation, that was succeeding. That wasn't selling out.
Yeah. There are a couple things you've said now I want to interrogate right quick. Let me do this first. I'll jump ahead and then we'll jump back and jump around as we need to. But given your story now about how fascinated he was by the Louis Vuitton brand, even as a young person, was this a dream for him to become the head of menswear, or it just happened?
I don't think that anything sort of just happens.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes it might seem like it, but then you go back and you look at everything that was coming before and you recognize, all the steps and all the work and all the tilling of the soil that took place, that other people did for you.
Sure.
But he definitely had aspirations to to lead a big brand. And definitely Vuitton was sort of a most favored brand. And one of the stories that I loved that came up when I was reporting the book is, he founded his company Off-White, and it had only been around for a few years. And the job to lead Givenchy opened. And Virgil ran into, someone from the fashion industry in Paris where he showed his Off-White collection. And, she was someone who was really involved in finding and developing new talent. And so he said to her, I really want the Givenchy job. Who do I need to talk to? And she, said that she was kind of taken aback because she was thinking to herself, oh, like, you are getting way out over your skis here. Because she was thinking about the role in very traditional terms, that you needed to be a classically trained designer. But in hindsight, she said that it was her lack of imagination, because Virgil really understood that he brought a value or he could bring a value to a brand like that, wasn't the same as what a classically trained designer could bring, but was just as valuable. And at the end of the day, he did not get that job. But I loved that, one, he was audacious enough and confident enough to say, I want it, and I think I'm qualified for it. And I think it also, once you say something like that out loud, I think the idea that it can become a reality really starts to crystallize for you.
I've got a couple questions in my head right now that I'm noodling that I want to ask Robin in a moment here about these legacy brands and black folk. I'll pivot to that in a second here. But I am curious as to what you recall. I suggested earlier that I remember like it was yesterday. I'm just a media personality, and I was talking about this issue when it became breaking news. But this is what you do. You cover these things regularly. What do you recall about the response inside of the industry when he was named the man at Vuitton?
Shock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and I'm not gonna, pretend like I was like, oh yeah, I saw this coming and it's wonderful. Google is a thing and the receipts are out there. So when it happened, I was certainly shocked, and I felt like, it was a clear signal from Vuitton that it was more focused on the company's role as, a purveyor of culture as opposed to a purveyor of, sort of fashion. And to be quite honest, I was a little sad for, you know, people who had gone to design school, who'd been toiling away as somebody's assistant in an atelier somewhere. It's the kind of thing where, you know, someone gets like the big starring role in a film and it's because they're a famous singer. They haven't been toiling away in small theaters honing their acting chops. So, there was part of me that felt for them. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. That reminds me of some years ago when Samuel L. Jackson kind of went public with his frustration about all these rappers who were getting these movie roles. And I remember.
It's not to say that they're not talented and the creativity can cross genres. But, my frustration with fashion, in particular, is it's always so keen to attach itself to particularly musicians. Because in some ways I feel like it's a bit of an insecurity complex. And, so they think, oh, well, someone has really great style, so they should be able to, design a collection. And I always joke that, I've never heard a musician say, wow, this designer has really great taste in music. Why don't you come and produce my next CD? It just doesn't work both ways.
I knew you were going there. I was waiting for it. I love it. I've got 2 minutes right now. We'll continue, of course, when we come forward. This is why it was so important to have you for the hour, and I thank you for the time. So you can reject my frame here, but I used this phrase earlier in the conversation, earlier in my show today, rather, relative to something else that doesn't really matter now. But when it comes to these legacy brands, and I think you'll take my point, and again, you can reject the frame and create your own, if you will. When it comes to these legacy brands, my question is whether or not they eventually saw the light or felt the heat when it comes to them accepting people like Virgil Abloh on the inside. Did they see the light or they felt the heat?
I think it's a little bit of both because I think it depends on who you're talking about.
Okay.
I think that a lot of credit goes to Michael Burke, who was the executive in charge of Vuitton, who hired Virgil, because there's a great story that Michael Burke told me about his first meeting with Virgil.
Hold that thought. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm looking at my clock, and when you tell me you're about to tell me a story, I know you can't do it in 30 seconds. It would be fair to do that to you anyway. So when we come forward, I'm going to let you tell the story. Remember where you are, and I will tee you back up for this when we come forward to tell the story about the man who hired Virgil Abloh and their first meeting. I thought you were about to say, and I also want to talk about this phrase that everybody uses now, everybody is doing everything for the culture. I ain't down with that because I know some Negroes who saying that and they really ain't. But everybody's doing everything they do for the culture. You were talking about earlier, Virgil suggesting that he was succeeding for the culture. I don't know what that phrase meant to him. Now it's just run of the mill. Everybody's doing everything for the culture. I ain't buying it, as I said. But what did he mean when he invoked that particular phraseology? We'll talk about that and a great deal more. The book is called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. The author of that book is our guest in this hour, Robin Givhan, right now on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. 9 people were hurt in a stampede at Atlanta's Vine City MARTA station after a Beyonce concert. Witnesses say someone screamed, causing panic as an escalator sped up and stopped suddenly. Devon Ramsey says he was on the platform.
There were a lot of people that needed assistance after that.
The incident is under investigation. Democrats in Hampton, Connecticut have endorsed Legislative Council President Dominique Baez for mayor. Baez won 39 of 63 delegate votes. At least 5 other Democrats, including Jamika Jeffries, will challenge her in the September primary. And a black former city clerk in Haines City, Florida, has won a $550,000 settlement after claiming she was told to stop wearing Aunt Jemima braids. Erica Anderson says she faced racist remarks and retaliation from the mayor, was falsely accused of misconduct, and fired after filing a whistleblower complaint. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the Tavis?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce have been nominated for Emmy Awards for their halftime performances at NFL games. Lamar has 4 nominations for his halftime performance at last season's Super Bowl in New Orleans. The Compton native was nominated for Outstanding Live Variety Special, Outstanding Directing for a Variety Special, Outstanding Music Directing, and Outstanding Choreography. Beyonce was also nominated for Outstanding Live Variety Special for her performance on Christmas Day during halftime of the Houston Texans-Baltimore Ravens game in Houston. Beyonce did her performance with the HBCU Texas Southern University Ocean of Soul Marching Band. The Emmy Awards show is September 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on CBS. Major League Baseball honored Hank Aaron last night during the All-Star game in Atlanta. Aaron passed Babe Ruth in 1974 to become, at that time, baseball's all-time home run leader. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey man, hey, what's up? What's that station you listening to? Oh man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio, KBLA 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education to know. Ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
KBLA 1580 Talk Radio. Hit it like me. Ooh, KBLA 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Robin Givhan, who's author of the new book called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. Delighted to have her on. I want to just bring the voice of Virgil Abloh into this conversation. I think this clip is pretty self-explanatory. Give it to me, Miles.
You guys are born at a very awesome, distinct time. Like, I think that this is the Renaissance. Don't get sort of trapped into like this, everything sucks, the world is like coming to an end. That's just like an internal mechanism basically to chill. When you don't have to put yourself out there, you can like wake up every day and come up with excuses, but it's exactly the opposite.
That is the voice of one Virgil Abloh, who is the subject of the new book called Make It Ours, written again by our guest, Robin Givhan. All right, Robin, you were telling me the story. That's what we just heard there was Virgil's worldview. Yeah. But what do the folk inside of Vuitton think of him? So tell me your story.
Yeah, so it was about Michael Burke, who was the head of Vuitton when Virgil was hired. But years before that, he was running Fendi. Mm-hmm. And he was in Tokyo, where there's an incredibly influential streetwear culture. And they were having a big event to launch a little collection. And as part of that event, Kanye West was going to be performing. And Virgil was working with Kanye. They met in Chicago, and Virgil eventually became sort of his creative director. And there was a dinner the night before the concert. And Michael Burke described this dinner as essentially Virgil and Kanye and this, influential Japanese streetwear designer, Nigo, and his band, and a group of young, incredibly cool Japanese teenagers who just sort of mystified Michael Burke. And he said it was the situation where they were looking at him as this fashion insider. But, Virgil talked a lot about insiders and outsiders and how you can be both, at different times in your life. And Burke talked about feeling like very much the outsider because he didn't really know or understand half of what, these guys were talking about. But he was fascinated. And he knew it was interesting, and he knew it was important. And what I loved about the story is that, Michael Burke said that he didn't really say very much. He just listened. And I think that is a really important characteristic of him as a leader, that he had the humility and the curiosity to recognize that he needed to just listen. And he was impressed by Virgil. And the two kept in touch. Eventually, there's this sort of kooky internship that happens at Fendi with Virgil and Kanye. But ultimately, Michael is thinking about Virgil when this Vuitton job opens. And Michael had been working at, the corporation for a very long time. He knew his boss, Bernard Arnault, quite well, and felt confident in his position there. And I think all of these things come together so that you have someone who is open, who listens, who doesn't mind being an outsider sometimes and recognizes when he is, and is also confident enough that he can take a different path and present it to his boss and not be worried that he's going to lose his job or lose favor. And, and there's Virgil ready when the opportunity arrives.
Yeah. Love that you shared that story. I'm as you're telling the story, my mind is going back to what you confessed earlier in this conversation. Now that you needed to confess it because the internet never dies, and all we got to do is just Google your name, and we can find everything you've ever written, and we can see it. And Virgil knew it anyway. But you shared with us how at one point you had some some negative critiques of his of the stuff he was bringing forth with his Off-White brand. My question as I think about that is, what did you see that gave you reason to believe that he actually had something? The negative critiques notwithstanding, because you can critique me for X, Y, or Z, but that doesn't mean that you don't see something in me that gives you reason to believe that I can still have some sort of impact on the culture, as it were. So you mentioned the negative comment, you mentioned the negative critique, but you didn't tell me what you actually saw.
Yeah. Well, there was one show in particular. It was, preceded his appointment at Vuitton, and it was in Paris for Off-White. And it was, the show venue was on this sort of little narrow side street in the center of Paris. And when I arrived, it was, there was always sort of a crowd, waiting to go into these shows, and certainly for one of the Off-White shows. But this one was like a crazy mosh pit. I mean, it was like dozens of people deep. It was impossible to move. It was just this like throng of people trying to get into this show. And what Virgil had done is he'd had a sneaker presentation earlier in the day. And he had sort of dropped into his Instagram, "Hey, I'm having a fashion show. Like, come on over." And no one does this. And the people in Paris who run the shows and are in charge of security were sort of beside themselves, thinking that this was a security disaster. But Virgil had essentially, sort of dropped any pretense, and all of these young people came. A lot of them were sneakerheads, but a lot of them were just Virgil fans. And it was this sort of very visual reinforcement that this is a guy who reaches people in a way that so many other designers don't. And he reaches a particular demographic that a lot of luxury houses would pay big money to reach so seemingly so easily and so organically.
Here is some sound of Virgil Abloh talking about his fashion brand, Off-White.
It's to inspire kids. If you think Off-White's too expensive, that's great. You're supposed to make your own T-shirt brand. This project that was made to inspire. To people that can't see it, it looks like something else. It's targeted towards the demographic that can afford it. But for that demographic that can afford it, it's meant so that you start the competing brand that's better than Off-White.
I love that last line, so that you start the better brand that can compete with Off-White. That's Virgil Abloh talking about his brand, Off-White. Our conversation with Robin Givhan continues when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Robin Givhan. Her book is called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. Robin, I say all the time on this program, sometimes the best conversations actually happen off air, although you and I are having a pretty good one right now. I wish you'd been here in studio for the dialogue we were just having amongst our team here about a question that I now want to pose to you. I wish I could, again, reprise that conversation for the air. But it's this dialectic of people saying that they're doing X, Y, or Z for the culture, when sometimes it appears to be anything but that. It's really for the cash, not for the culture. And one could offer that critique of the relationship, the collaboration between Virgil and Kanye. I digress. Your thoughts?
Well, the relationship between Virgil and Kanye started pretty soon after Kanye's album College Dropout, and then Late Registration. So it was early on, and it was sort of, problematic Kanye. And this is the thing that I will sort of give honor to the relationship in that they connected at a point and at a time when Kanye had the financial means to pursue this dream of starting a fashion line. And he had this sweeping ambition and wild confidence. And there really was this synergy with Virgil and with a generation of designers who sort of got swept up into this cyclone of creativity and ambition. And the best aspects of that really had to do with this nearly contagious belief that you could build something creative. And, and I think that was really wonderful. How it all sort of panned out years later, is really tragic, I think. But in talking to people who were in Virgil's world, designers like Kim Jones and Matthew Williams and Jerry Lorenzo, who created Fear of God, so many of them, had these interactions with Kanye, these collaborations, these, late night conversations. And I'm not going to say their collections were the direct result of that, but they certainly were sort of fuel and energy, and this sense that, if they're doing this, incredible hat trick, then maybe I can do it too.
When you see the book, when you get the book, which I hope you will, and encourage you to, because Virgil had not a lot of time on this earth, but he had an impact, to my mind at least. We'll check with Robin in a moment about what she thinks his impact really was. But the book is called Make It Ours, and the Make It Ours on the cover is in quotes. So it's in quotes, Make It Ours. And the subtitle, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. So the obvious question for me, which I could have asked to commenced this conversation almost an hour ago. Why title the book Make It Ours? We'll do that and a couple other things with Robin Givhan when we come forward here in our remaining moments with her on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet,
especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Robin Givhan. I've got about 4 minutes left here with Robin. I've enjoyed this immensely and learned a great deal. Robin, why the title Make It Ours?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, one is the idea that Virgil expressed about taking ownership and, creating your own brand, doing it yourself. And it's also a reference to the impact that he had on luxury fashion and the definition of it. And to some degree, it's really, he sort of underscored this idea that luxury, is what you value. Mm. It's not necessarily that it has to be a huge price tag. It's what you place a value on. And I also think it's like something that, I think was suggested in the clip of his that you played, where he, really is like highlighting optimism. And that was kind of my takeaway from the reporting, which is at one point he said, I choose optimism.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a powerful statement, because it's not saying I'm being naive. Yeah. It's not saying I'm ignoring the problems. It's saying I choose to believe that there's a way forward.
Here's Virgil Abloh on that very notion.
Perfectionism doesn't advance anything, ironically. As a creative and as a designer, there's no wrong way to go about the future of your career. The only failure is not to try.
The voice, again, one final time with Virgil Abloh. I've got about 90 seconds left, Robin. I'll yield it all to you. Given that you are, again, the Washington Post senior critic at large, writing about politics, race, and the arts, Robin is no stranger to critique herself. How do you see this particular moment in black culture? We have a president who seems terrified of black culture. I ain't got time to unpack that. But talk to me about this moment right quick here in black culture as you see it.
You start working on a book so far, in advance, and you don't know what the times will be like when it finally lands. Yes. And I do feel like the book is well timed because, it talks about some of the Black designers who came before Virgil, who are still around and working and are quite successful. And I think for a lot of people, it is this uncontrovertible evidence of Black creativity and importance and influence at a time, as you said, when a lot of that, there's an attempt to erase it. Yeah. And, Virgil's career was so short, but he had an impact. But even more than that, the impact that he had was possible because of the impact of so many of the people who came before him.
No question.
And I feel like the book captures that. And for a lot of people right now, that feels very satisfying.
No, we are all part of a narrative. And somebody once said, our job is to just get our paragraph right. But we are, many of us, as I said the other day, are working or resting in the shade of trees that we did not plant. And so We're all part of a continuum. The book is called Make It Ours, Crashing the Gates of Culture with Virgil Abloh. The author of that book has been our guest in this hour, and I've been delighted to have had her on this program. Robin Givhan, thank you for your insights. All the best to you, and congrats on the new book.
Thank you so much, Tavis.
Just like that, 3 hours are gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley, and as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. 9 people were hurt in a stampede at Atlanta's Vine City MARTA station after a Beyonce concert. Witnesses say someone screamed, causing panic as an escalator sped up and stopped suddenly. Devon Ramsey says he was on the platform.
There were a lot of people that needed assistance after that.
The incident is